Hello, my name is Nicholas Morton and I'm a lecturer at Nottingham, Trent. This is the first of a series of talks looking at what is an essay and how do we do well when writing out an essay answer. In this first talk, we're going to be thinking about the main question. What am I supposed to do with an essay question when it lands on my desk? What's the basic starting point that I should adopt when engaging with an essay question? I'm going to begin to think about this by raising a fairly trivial example. Let's say that we've all gone to the cinema. There's 20 of us, for example, and we've all gone to the cinema, we've watched a film, and then we've come out, we've seen the film, and a friend turns to us and says, so what did you think of the film? Did you like it? Now, there are a number of ways we could answer that. What we could do is we could say, well, so the film started this way, the following events happened, and then the film concluded in this way. Well, at that point, our friend would probably turn to us and say, well, actually, that wasn't quite what I was looking for. I asked you whether you liked it or not. Another way we could deal with it is to say, okay, well, I don't really have an opinion on whether the film was any good or not, but I've got a friend who does, and they thought this. Again, our friend might say to us, well, that wasn't what I was asking. Or we could say, I liked the film. I didn't like the film. The film was okay. Whatever you think. But here are the reasons why. Okay. Now, obviously, writing an essay is rather different from giving your opinion on a film. But the principles are the same. In an essay, you are not being asked to tell the story of the events being described. Let's say that the question being asked is, why did Henry Tudor win the Battle of Bosworth Field? You're not being asked to tell me the story of the Battle of Bosworth Field. In a similar vein, you're not being asked to say what other historians think about the Battle of Bosworth Field. What you're being asked to do is to put together a professional, well-researched thesis in which you offer a direct answer to the question, stating your reasons in an evidence-based argument for that answer. So yeah, there is a difference between my analogy and writing an essay. One is obviously very professional, the other is informal, but the principles are the same. You have to provide a well-reasoned answer to the question. Now, in the later talks, I'm going to go into how you might do that, but there is one basic principle I want to start with in terms of how you produce a really well-reasoned, really well-argued, professional answer to the question. And that is that you have to know about the subject material really well. If you're asked your opinion on whether you liked a film that you've seen, you've got to have watched the film before you can deliver a verdict. You're not going to fool someone by pretending you've seen it and then having a go at giving your view. You've got to know your stuff. And the same thing with an essay. The best starting point for writing an essay is to conduct a great deal of reading. So in terms of the question on Henry Tudor, you've got to read up the primary sources. What did they say about the Battle of Bosworth Field? The secondary sources. What did the historians say about it? You've got to engage with these sources. Have a view. Can I trust the primary sources? What do I think about the views that historians have said? And all these sorts of questions. And within that, you will develop your own stance on the question until you reach a point where you think, you know what, I actually have a really well-rounded professional thesis on this question. I know what the answer is, and I have a clear answer in mind, and I can explain why I've reached that conclusion. So that's your starting point for answering an essay question. I hope you found that useful. Please do watch the later talks. Thank you.